seems legit.
Hello. Today I am finally sewing up the food bag for my child with the odicoat on it. I wanted to see how much it differed. I have put the wrong size zip in. I cut it too big, which is why it's a little bit bumpy. See how it's a little bit bumpy there? But since my child's 5, he won't care, and I'm not going to pull the whole thing apart because of it. But it went well. So I didn't really have any different sewing with the odicoat than with without it. So that's good. But if you want to see this made up kind of fairly speedily, please stay tuned to watch. So I have not attempted to try and stitch this to see what it's going to be like. So you will see it firsthand just like me. I also did embroider Jessie's name across the front instead of doing the zipper pocket. So I'm basically going to speed stitch this. And we're going to see how we go. So I'm just going to take this bit. I'm not doing it in order of the actual pattern, even though it's my pattern. Shocker, I know. We're going to be on a 2.5 stitch length. So I'm going to stitch. I like to eliminate pieces. You guys know this by now, right? I'm going to back stitch. I'm going to trim there and trim there. And then we're going to do the outside pocket. And I also don't have a mesh pocket in this either because my kid wouldn't use it. And I'm sure he'll change his mind before the day comes that he will. So what I do need is some zipper tape. I hadn't really thought about what colour I want to use. Maybe navy with silver teeth. I mean, in a perfect world, I'd have red with silver teeth, but all the stuff I've ordered still hasn't arrived. So I just have to make do with what's in my drawer. And let's be honest, it's not like I don't have enough options in there. Oops. And my zipper's not going to be low enough. So we won't be doing that one either. Nope. Oh, there we go, that bit's long enough. Not sure why it's not wrapped up with the other one, but anyway. I also need to singe the ends. We always singe the ends of our zipper. Like so. Perfect. So I'm going to take my zipper pull. So I'm just going to use chunky. And let's make the zipper top pocket. So I'm going to put the zipper on just anywhere. And then I'm going to have this one right sides up and this one right sides down. Line it up on this end. And that, if you heard that through the video, they are practicing their, I assume, bombing or big guns of some description. So we will just have to ignore all of the banging that's happening. Alright, so that's that one. I'm not going to top stitch until in a minute. So I'm going to hold this flat on the lining side and line those two up, and then if you want to you can put some clips on. I didn't need to, but we're going to do it anyway. Then I'm going to grab this and bring it around and then clip it down. And then stitch, back stitch, pull it off, clip it down. And then if you pull on this, it should all just flatten out. Now I'm going to top stitch the whole way around, partially because I want to test stitch with the waterproofing stuff on. With my Teflon foot, I currently have no issues. It's not getting stuck. I can't see any gumming on the needle, so that's good. It basically just goes as normal. That, of course, is with the Teflon foot, but that's the only foot I ever use. So, there's my loop. Fold it in half. Find the center and the center. Then we're going to find the center of this. So I'm going to fold it over and clip there. So it has got a little bit of shiny to it now that it's all dry. Find all the center points. Of everything. So if you do it all at once, you won't have to do it later. So we're just gonna clip everywhere, really. On all the pieces, because they're all gonna need it, and then I won't have to come back later and do it. I can just do it all at once. Get all the stuffing around sorted. I like to use bigger scissors for the one with the insulated batting. As for that, on my website, I have tried to order more, but every time I go to my supplier, they are out of stock. But I'm hoping I will have it by the time I release the Cottywomple, which is my more advanced, fancier version kind of this. It is also a lunch bag, but it's designed for adults, whereas this one's great for kids. And the reason I'm telling you this is because I do actually plan to put the waterproof canvas into the hardware kit. Not the waterproof canvas, the insulated batting, so that you don't have to buy a full meter. It will come with the amount that you need. But that can only happen if I can get it in stock in time. So who knows what they're actually going to end up doing. So I've just lined up the bottom and just stitched that part there. And now I need to find the center, and I could have done it earlier, but now's just as good a time. And I'm going to do it to both sides, and then I'm going to put those together to find my halfway points, because they are also important. This is just the easiest way for me to do it. And so this is why I do it this way. You can obviously do it however you want. So now I'm just going to come to the side here and clip it into place. I'm going to do 3 clips and then move to the top one. Might do 4 clips here. I'm leaving the corners till last, as always, because this is the easiest way to do it. So this is pretty much the way that I speed sew them when I'm not on camera. Because, I don't know, I just like doing it this way. I'm going to split this open, because again, it's going to be easy to get my corners in. And then I'm going to hold it on the 3D angle, because it is a 3D thing. But so far I'm not having any issues with the waterproof canvas, which is the whole reason I'm doing this video for you. Not waterproof canvas, I keep saying that. Waterproof coating that's on the exterior. But so far so good, and I like that. I'd hate for it to give me issues. Last corner. This one's always toughest because it's where the zipper pull is, and they never want to play ball. Again, holding it like a 3D object, making sure we're not getting any pinches, because at the moment I am, which is why I'm fiddling with it so much. There we go. So see how I just kind of tucked it up in there? It made it all better and got rid of all the issues. So then I'm going to grab this one, and we're just going to line it up with all the center points and just work my way around. And it should just line up, to be honest. You shouldn't have a lot of issue adding this piece on. The hardest issue that you're probably going to have is doing these corners with the zipper tape, which shouldn't be too bad. if you wanted to, you could come and line up this side point here and then work your way into the corners. It's all much of muchness. As long as you get all your clips to hold everything in place, you should be fine. I also want this piece, I twist it up like this and then shove it in. The twisting theoretically prevents it from popping back out. Like that. Alright, let's stitch it. So I'm going to start just here. I'm doing 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm making sure I am not stitching the zipper teeth. Right, just run out of bobbin thread, but I did know this was coming, which is why for this video I did pre-wind another one. Did you hear that? I can't tell if you can hear stuff in videos or not. It did slightly make the window shake though. For those that don't know, I live on an army base, so I'm not in a war zone, so I'm safe. If anyone was concerned, please don't be, I am fine. Right, hand got full, put the clips away. Back stitch, I missed a bit right in that corner. So I'm just going to come back and do it. It's the curse of going too fast. Sometimes you miss. That's better. Trim off all your tails. And then turn it through the hole. So again, the bigger the hole, the easier it is to turn, but the harder it is to sew shut. So find your happy balance, basically. This waterproof coating seems to be making it a little slight bit trickier to turn through. Nothing too major, but just thought you should know, since that is the whole point of this video. You just pull on the zipper teeth, and it should pull all your corners out. And I've got one stitch there that's going to cause me issue. There we go. Alright, so I'm just going to hold this and tuck this under. Now this isn't going to hold by itself, so I always use some double-sided tape. This is the 6mm or 1/4 inch, depending on which way you want to look at that. And I'm just putting it on the seam allowance on the inside and making it stick, hopefully. Sometimes it takes a minute. There we go. And then I'm just going to fold that under and stick it down like that. Alright. 3.5. I'm going to start on that edge. Now this is the big test to see what it's like to stitch around. But as you can see, it's not dragging at all, so that's a good start. Around the corner. Get back to the start and back stitch. So I'm not really feeling very much of a difference stitching with this stuff. I'm really not. Which is good. It's kind of what we wanted, right? Alright, the handle. So that's my lid done. Looks awesome. I know I don't have everything on it, but if you were looking for a cheaper way to make these bags, this would be it. Fold both sides into that center. Now normally I would iron this, but my iron's not on. And then we want to tuck in those raw edges on the end. like that, and like that, and then in, and then I might clip it in place because it's being a little bit stubborn. Like that, and then we're going to do the opposite side and bring it over. In and over. Now another way, actually I've just thought of another way that we can hack this, since I'm all about hacking stuff lately, is instead of having our hardware, which I actually thought to grab for this video, we are going to not do that. So I will show you what I mean in a second. So I'm just going to stitch all the way around this handle. I'm still in my nice decorative stitch length, so that's good. But as you can see, so that's got several layers of it. It's still stitching really nicely. And then back stitch when we get to the corner. Trim those tails. I'm sorry if I am going too fast. So I did cut out the things to do my strap ends, but I've since decided I won't do that. So I'm going to turn this out. We're going to find the opposite point to here, and I'm going to snip it. So that's my center. And then while we're at it, we may as well do our side points, because again, we're going to need them. So, center, which is here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my handle and put it down like this, and then I'm just going to move it in 1 inch. So we need a ruler for that. So 1 inch is there. Oh, maybe not even a whole inch, maybe just ½ an inch, like that. That's not going to hold. So I'm just going to grab that and I'm going to stitch here and then diagonally and then down and then back here. So instead of needing hardware, so you now just need a zip for this, which if you're making stuff for market brings your cost down. Alright, so there's the middle. So I'm going to line the middle up with the middle, lay that down flat, and then grab a ruler and bring it back ½ an inch. And so now the handle will in fact sit up. Any more than that, you probably don't really need it. After all, it is for a 5-year-old and he doesn't have big hands. But even I could use that handle. So I just basically moved it up ½ an inch. Move my clips, because as usual, they are in fact in my way. That's still cute. There is nothing wrong with that. Someone wouldn't look at that and be like, oh, you've cut some corners. Like, it's still a cute handle. Turn it back inside out. I'm also going to stitch this open and flat because it's kind of annoying me before I go back to my joining stitch length. So this will just help flatten it out for when I'm trying to sew everything together. Make sure you trim off those tails so they don't stick out later on. Right. So line that up there. Grab a bunch of clips. I'm going to start there like so. Then I'm going to grab the side one, because remember how we did all this just before? We got all the points sorted. So that one goes to there like that. This one goes to here like that. And this one comes to here. And then you can just kind of fill in the gaps with clips. Oh, it's pouring rain outside. I have my window shut behind me because otherwise the glare for the video is a bit much. Also, there's nothing exciting to look out there. There's a couple of concrete balls my husband's building, and that's about it. And if you're asking why concrete balls, he lifts them as weights. Very heavy weights. They're like over 100 kilos each. He lifts them up to a bar that's like just below his chin and then throws them over the top of it. It's a thing, apparently. But it is bucketing down out there. So I've just got to line this up. It's not lining up as gloriously as I'd hoped, but then again, I also possibly didn't cut the right amount of zipper tape. There's a very real possibility of that. Then I'm going to grab this one and add it into all the rest. So I'm going to open this out flat. It's just going to give me a little bit more of an even thing to run over, I guess. You may need more clips as you go. Nothing but noises at this house at the moment. You probably can't hear it, but they're building a school basically across the road from me. So all day all I hear is like excavators and haul trucks and stuff. All day. So again, I'm just adding this into all of the clips that are already here. Like so. And then you can just start wherever, because we're going to go the whole way around. Needle down, reposition everything, go again. I think I just got some zippy tape then because I was printing too fast. I'm going to have to check that before I go any further. Is it fine or did I get the zipper? Oh no, we're cool. Alright, so let's do binding on this, just for something different. You've all seen it the other way. So I'm going to take this piece and this piece, literally just stitch it together, so it's one piece. Because some people love binding. I don't dislike it. I know it scares a lot of people. Right, joined. So there's now one piece. And so now I'm going to pull this down to the bottom because this also needs to join as one piece and they need to be the same. So I'm just stitching within the seam allowance. But I do find this a pretty quick way to make this. So I know I've skipped a few things, which is why this video is considerably shorter than the other ones. But I am also kind of speed sewing, which helps. I'm not really explaining it as well as I usually do because you guys can see the in-depth version already. Alright, I gotta go back and fix that bit. But, so it got a little bit pulled here. So I'm just going to unstitch it and fix it. This is why clips are sometimes more helpful than not. But I always like to put the bulk underneath and press a foot. And again with the me breaking stuff. Always me breaking stuff. So what's happened is I've managed to kind of pull it to the side instead of being straight down. I mean, we can try and stitch it from this way. I just don't think I'm going to be as successful. There we go. Trim off all of your tails that you have just created. And then I'll grab the base. Make sure that this all zips up, which it does. Fantastic. Turn it so it's inside out. And you want to bring the zip out that way. And then I'm going to match up the center back like this. And again, I'm going to use several clips. So you might find this way quicker, or you might prefer to sew the 2 layers and then stitch the thing closed. It is entirely up to you what you choose. You should be able to just go around. I'm hoping this way works, otherwise I'm going to have to unclip it. Sometimes I can do this without finding the center points, and sometimes it's not as friendly as I'd hoped. I guess we're about to find out. So some people prefer the binding on the inside. If you get a store-bought one, they'll have binding, and the reason for that is because it's quicker. And so they always do what's quicker on retail stuff. But if you're making, you know, for a market, quicker is usually better because then you can get more made. I suppose it just depends on where your head's at. Alright, so that didn't work. I need to grab the corner and ease it in. Like that. And then come and do the other corner again. And this time it's going to work. Sometimes I just don't put enough kind of fabric in the corners because you do have to ease it in as a 3D object, and clearly I didn't do a well enough job of that. It is a thing to practice. But there we go. Now that I've put all my clips on the wrong way, I'm going to actually stitch it this way. Pack up my clips as I go. This is joining all of our layers together. And then we just chuck some binding on and we're done. But as far as the odicoat's concerned, I've had no issues. Because that was something I was concerned about. Maybe it was going to be a bit sticky. Now here's hoping I've got dark blue. There it is. Dark blue binding. I could also do something opposite and put red on. You just want to change your thread color for that. So now I'm just going to fold it over and clip it down. You can make your own binding as well. I tend to just buy mine like this because it's quicker and easier, and it's really not that expensive. I buy it usually about 10 meters at a time. So that I can get a lot of different colors. I did buy a big roll of navy, and I don't use it as often as I thought I would. So again, we're just folding it over, squishing it down with a clip, holding it all in place. Oh, I'm going to keep throwing clips on the floor. I will pick them all up, just not on camera. You don't need to see me scrounging around for clips when I've got enough in my bowl. At the end of every video, I usually go around and pick them all up again. They're just slippery. And I try and open them before I've got the proper grip on them. And then they flee out of my hand is usually what happens. But that's okay. I don't drop as much stuff when I'm not on camera, I don't think. I've never really tested that theory, but I do still drop stuff. Because I try and work faster than I can physically work, and so I drop things. Alright, binding is on. I'm just going to put the rubber band on this. Put it back in the drawer so I don't lose it like I did a second ago. Again, I put all the clips on the wrong way, but that's right. Should be right. Now I want to stitch close to the edge of the binding. So I'm using my finger here. I'm using my middle finger and I'm pushing against the binding so that it doesn't shift out from the foot when I take the clip off, because it does a habit of doing that. And this is where I think a lot of people struggle, because they're sewing, and when you pull the clip, it also slightly pulls the binding, so then the binding comes off. So my solution that I've found is I put my finger up against my zip, like my stitching foot. And it seems to do the trick, where it doesn't slide out, which means I don't have as many errors to go fix later. It also helps when I put my clips on the right way, which I did not do. Also keep an eye on your bobbin. Make sure you haven't run out of bobbin thread. Super important. Last corner. So the corners are usually where it'll slip out the most. So you should always flip it over and go check your corners. But, boom. Happy days. And then there's no tucking required. You're just finished. Flip it out. You want to push on that seam so it's nice and flat and firm. But that's nice. I like it that way. My zip's a little bit dodgy on the side here, but I have a sneaking suspicion it's because I cut my zip the wrong length. Just quietly. I was guessing from memory. But the handle, see how the handle sits up? So we've still got a handle. Now, if this was to sell, I would fix the zip, but it's because it's for my kid. I think I cut 1 inch too much, which happens. It's what happens when you try and guess things. Basically, what I should do is a pie chart or a chart on my wall of how much zipper tape I need for all things. But the inside looks good. And the binding will help keep the base look really nice as well. And that will fit his lunchbox and all his food essentials. So the odicoat's good. It didn't alter how I sew this with a Teflon foot. I have to say that because I didn't try it with a metal one. But yeah. Alright guys, I'll see you later.